Things are going to be a little sloppy right now, but I guess some things I want to talk about with this because I think you guys know pretty well. Sorry, I've got to take out some stuff, some trash. I think you guys have heard, especially if you have followed me for a while, you know where I stand politically. You know that I consider myself a conservative. You guys know that I'm a big Louder with Crowder fan. You guys know that I follow people on the Daily Wire, especially Andrew Klavan. I think you guys know that it's not. I don't hide what I believe, even if I don't speak it all the time. It's there for anybody to know. I'm pretty sure if you guys follow anybody who's politically, any of the big voices who are politically right-leaning, outside of Fox News tools, I think you guys have heard that, stay boys. I think you guys have heard that Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire are having a little bit of a falling out. Hey, welcome, by the way, friend. I think you guys know that there's a falling out going on right now. So I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. Also, look at this cuteness. Ready? Every time I take out trash or anything, look at this. Oops. Look at those cute boys. Look at those cute boys. Push them so happy. Hello. Hey, buddies. Hello. So here's the deal. I have been a longtime follower of both. I found Ben before I found Steven, and I've been following both of them for a very long time. Welcome, friend. Welcome. I've been following both Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder for a while. And while I liked Ben and still somewhat do, and I still follow Andrew Klavan, and I listen to the Daily Wire stuff. I ended up subscribing to Mug Club because I just found that they support my values more. But not only that, I thought that they were actually doing something that was really useful. The Change My Mind segment was probably the most influential thing that happened on YouTube. Or culturally speaking, just getting people to sit down and have conversations. People incorrectly label it as a debate. It's not really a debate. A debate is more trying to persuade an audience, whereas these are conversations between two individuals getting to rationalize why it is you believe what you believe. That was the most influential thing on the internet for the longest time. Still is. Even today, even though there's I think there's probably over 20 Change My Minds out there now. He'll release one and he'll still get 3 million views on YouTube with all of the restrictions and stuff that are being piled up on them. And in terms of just channel ratios, Crowder has more interactions per subscribers than anybody else on the internet. I mean, you look at Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, all of the big guys, PewDiePie, even, I can't say Mr. Beast because I don't really follow his stuff enough, but pretty much everybody except for Crowder and maybe Mr. Beast, they have significantly higher subscriber counts than they do viewer counts. And that's normal. That's really normal. Crowder's one of the few that was actually able to maintain close numbers, a really close ratio between viewers and subscribers. And that's a big deal on the internet. That's a really big deal. Not only that, but he's also willing to say things that might get him in trouble. I mean, the kid's been banned from different things multiple times. He's been suspended over and over from YouTube, from Facebook, from Twitter. And while the critics will say, and I'll get to the point in a minute, I just want to give some people some background. Those who may not know, man, my lips look pink in this filter. Oh, well, whatever. It's not a big deal. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. While people might say, it's because he says terrible racist and homophobic things. He's such a terrible, hateful person. Let's actually look at the reasons why he was banned. Okay, let's actually look at the individual times, because I've been following since the very first Oscars live stream. I was watching live. No, I was watching since the second Oscars live stream. I was watching live the first time that the Oscars live stream was taken down midstream. I was watching as it happened. And you know what happened? What happened was it was a false copyright claim that ABC Universal made, or was it ABC made? Hello, I'm just giving a quick overview of why this whole discussion is important, and then I'll get to it. I was there when the first Oscars live stream got taken down, and it was taken down because of a false copyright claim that ABC made. And I think there was a false copyright claim that Universal made at one point. And every time that someone came with these copyright strikes, they'd end up not settling. They would end up retracting and stepping back because they realize they don't have a legal leg to stand on. I mean, Half Asian Bill Richmond is like the top tier. He became the top tier entertainment lawyer because of all of these strikes with Crowder. I mean, like they have successfully, I think to this point, they have still never, ever, they've never lost a fight with these guideline strikes or these content strikes, because Bill Richmond has every time stepped in and showed, hey, you guys have no legal leg to stand on. That's what they boasted for a long time. They keep taking us down when there's no reason to. Look, during COVID, what was one of the things that got them taken down? Gerald A. said that if you look at the numbers, the flu, numbers from the CDC at the time, the accurate, like that day, log on to CDC and look at the numbers. The flu killed significantly more children than COVID. That was all he said. Banned. Recently, the most recent reason was because of an election. And I'm not scared about saying it because, like, I have less than 200 subscribers. Who's going to care what I say? I've got no target on my back. You had Carrie Lake come on Crowder's show and say, we had a dishonest election in our primary, not in the general, not in 2020, in her primary. She said that during her primary, there was some meddling going on, meddling in Republican circles. She was criticizing Republicans for meddling in an election. Okay. You would think that would be more allowed, because, most of the election meddling stuff that got taken down was Republicans criticizing Democrats. Well, a Republican was criticizing Republicans, and that got taken down. It's curious. Like all these times he's been taken down over and over. He's been demonetized for a long time. Hasn't made a penny off of YouTube in so daggum long. What was it like? If you remember the Vox Adpocalypse a couple of years ago, he's in a fight with Carlos Maza. This is all. I swear, this is all important. Don't tune out, because this is all important to the whole conversation. If you remember the Vox Adpocalypse, Crowder was critiquing some videos from Vox by a guy named Carlos Maza. Okay. Now, Carlos self-identified as, what was it? I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing. It was like a half Latino, lesbian, genderqueer, something like that. He used all of those himself. They have video evidence of him saying that on Vox, calling himself that. And so all Crowder did was read it off the prompter, what he called himself, what he self-identified as. And then Carlos Maza claimed that was hate speech, and that Crowder was using all of those things in a negative stereotype he was reading off a prompter. Okay. That led into the Vox Adpocalypse. Okay. That became known as basically the Crowder rule, where there was borderline content. If it's a borderline community guideline strike, you get it taken out. Okay. It was a bogus strike to begin with, but it's the one that YouTube stuck with, and they stuck with their guns. They demonetized Crowder for a year. There were no ads, no nothing on Crowder's videos. He wasn't allowed to make a penny off of YouTube. Now, this didn't hurt Crowder so much. Actually, we'll get to the funny thing in a minute, but Crowder has, for a long time, made his money off of subscriptions, not off of ads. Okay, he makes a little bit of money off of having like 1, maybe 2 advertisers every episode, but never more than 2. I do not recall a time where he's ever done more than 2. And maybe before they went daily, back when they had the radio show. I can swear this is all important to why they're fighting today. So they have these conversations and whatnot. YouTube does the strike, and they completely demonetize Crowder's channel for a whole year. Funny thing is that move actually got Crowder more subscribers than any other event or any other person did up to that point. So they named him Employee of the Month. That was pretty funny. You had that going on. Year later, they restore it and then demonetized again. Okay, this has been a constant thing that's gone on for a long time. All right, like I've said, I've been following Crowder and the Daily Wire people for a while. So you have all this going on. You have videos being taken down. Oh, also with the Vox Apocalypse, there's a T-shirt. Oh, here, you know what? I won't show what it says, but when I went to go see him and Dave live in Nashville, I got the most illegal shirt on YouTube, which I'm very proud of. Anyways, here's the thing. That T-shirt, Carlos Maza claimed that T-shirt was about him. Oh, man, I got really laggy. This camera does... the camera does great in low light, but when it's connected to an app like YouTube or TikTok, it does not do well in low light. It's really weird. Carlos Maza claimed that T-shirt was about him, and then that was the reason they went after him. So YouTube did the biggest overstep that they had done so far. Remember, this is all happening to Crowder. This isn't happening to Crowder and the Daily Wire or Crowder and Fox News or Crowder and Glenn Beck. No, this is only happening to Crowder. All right? Because of that, YouTube said, hey, you can't advertise that shirt. He's like, well, we don't. You know, the shirt has nothing to do with him. We were selling this T-shirt a while ago. Didn't matter. Didn't matter that there was no links to the store pages or anything. They even... They said that video, or not that video, that T-shirt was not allowed. Covers it, because I'll be honest, I don't know what their beliefs are, or what their values are anymore. I don't have any reason to think negatively, but I don't know if they like me anymore or not. A little too boisterous for some people. YouTube said that T-shirt was not allowed anywhere on YouTube. So they took down every single video that had that T-shirt. There is a banned from YouTube section of, if right now it's still on the Blaze. I don't know how long it'll be on the Blaze. Hello, friend. I'm going over some history before we get to the main thing, because all the history is really important. My bad. So YouTube said, not only can you not have any videos of that that have that shirt in it, they took them all down. There's currently on the Blaze and also CRTV. No, CRTV was a while ago. The Blaze has a section called Banned from YouTube, which is just a collection of the videos that are not allowed on YouTube anymore. You find every single video where he's wearing that shirt that I showed you. Every single video where he's wearing that shirt is in there. Okay. So, all right. So you take down every video that has a shirt. Okay. Well, then YouTube said, and this is the part where it's the biggest overstep. We won't allow you back on YouTube, because there came a strike with this. They said, we won't allow you back on YouTube if this is even in your store. So not only is it, not only was it wrong that this shirt was about Carlos Maza. It wasn't. It was about Che Guevara being a punk who was arrested under a fig tree. That's why it says what it says. Not only was he hailed as a hero, and he was actually a murdering psychopath that people worshipped. It's not their logo it's not the font of their logo anymore, but still. Not only did they falsely attribute that to being about Carlos Maza, but and then not only did they take down the videos that had that t-shirt, but they also went a step further in saying, hey, we're going to punish you for something that's not even on this platform. That is way too far, okay? That's what makes this such a big deal, is YouTube went so far beyond the rules and whatnot that they said you can't even have something on your store page. You can't have merchandise that has something that we don't approve of. It's like 7 steps too far. Way too far. Doesn't happen to the Daily Wire. Only happens to Crowder. Okay? Now here's the thing. Daily Wire has known all this. And it's not the last time. Okay? It's not the only times that I've mentioned. There have been so many other times that Crowder has been singled out. Even if you look at famous Facebook document of people that were being shadow banned, the two of the most notable people on there were Ted Cruz and Steven Crowder. Ted Cruz's whole political campaign was targeted, and Steven Crowder was singled out over and over. Steven Crowder's name came up when, what was her name? Mazie Hirono was speaking. You have a big political conversation talking about the future of American politics, and then she's a senator, right? A senator from Hawaii mentions your name as a reason for more government intervention. That's pretty spooky. All of this is happening to Crowder, okay? We get to this year. Daily Wire's known about all of this. Daily Wire has known about where what's been happening with Crowder. They know him personally. They've known him personally for years. And then he announces that he's going to be leaving the Blaze. And he makes it very clear this is not an ill parting. This is on friendly terms. We're parting ways because there's just a disagreement in vision. I was like, okay, that's fine. That's great. And I'm sad that I am still sad that he's leaving the Blaze. I wish he was sticking with the Blaze, but he's announced that he was leaving. Welcome, friend. He announces he's leaving the Blaze. He gets a whole bunch of offers from a whole bunch of people, one of whom was from the Daily Wire. Now, the way that the timeline works, as best as I understand from everything that I've seen, is a lot of this information comes from Jeremy's video. By the way, I've watched both videos in their entirety, okay? Including the 52-minute one. I've watched it in its entirety. Daily Wire reaches out to Steven's agent, says, hey, like we'd like to make a deal. And according to Jeremy, I can't confirm any of this, and I want to be very careful with the things that I can't confirm. And that goes for both of them, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Jeremy says that Steven's agent was just like, no, we don't really want to work out a ton of stuff. We just want to know what the money is. We want to know how much you're offering. All right. And said, okay, well, we'll send over a draft of something, a conversation starter, and that'll get the conversation going. So the deal was like $32 million a year. Now, hold on before you get too excited about things. Hold on a minute. Okay. $32 million a year, 4 videos a week with 4 videos a week with, was it 4 weeks of vacation time? Flexibility with like Daily Wire's permission if you need to skip a day or make up a day or anything like that. And then a couple other legalese things in there. Okay. So they send that over, and Crowder looks at it and he's really upset by it. So they have a phone conversation. They talk about it and they say, hey, this is a really, really bad deal. I know everybody's mind is going straight to the 32 million, but we'll get back to that in a minute, okay? So we have use your brain, Stephen. We have this offer on the table. Stephen looks it over and says, wait, so you would control a lot of social media stuff that'd be tied to my name. You're requiring a lot more than what we normally do, and we'll get to that in a minute too. And then on top of that, you're going to keep all of the material that you guys produce and whatnot. Hello, friend. Going through some of the things that were in the contract that Crowder rejected. And what it came down to for him, and what I found to be the most troublesome thing that was in there, is the punishments, not punishments. We'll get to analysis in a little bit. There were some penalties if your stuff gets banned, suspended, or restricted, or demonetized, or whatever. So, like for every like platform, like let's say YouTube, you get demonetized on YouTube. Well, if it's not restored within, what was it, like 90 days? All right, so that's going to be a little bit of a reduction in how much the Crowder team gets paid, because Daily Wire can't take the whole brunt of that punch. All right, so this is mainly, I'm mainly speaking from Jeremy's perspective to start with, and I'll get to Stephen's in a minute. Because Jeremy was saying, we can't accept the full brunt of that hit. That's a big hit to take. That's a lot of money that we would be losing if somebody gets like demonetized and we can't make the money off of those platforms. All right, and not only that, with each one, it continues to add up over and over. So, like if you get demonetized from Apple, that's a reduction. Then from YouTube, that's another reduction. All these other things, those are other little reductions. Jeremy wanted to clarify that the Daily Wire would not control existing Twitter and Facebook pages and Instagram pages and whatnot. Well, maybe not Facebook, but Instagram and Twitter were specifically singled out by Jeremy. He said, we have no desire to control those. But anything that was, and anything that we need in order to market this show, the Daily Wire would control. All right, so those are the biggest major things that are in the document, okay? Why is it that it was such an issue for Crowder? Based off of what he was saying, off of the things that he was saying, and based off of the reading of the document, here's my emotion when I was listening to it, okay? When I listened to Crowder's video first, because I listened to Crowder first, Crowder and Mug Club have always been my number one. They've been my number one since I've really become invested in them. I listened to that first. And then I saw Jeremy's response, his 52-minute response. I came in saying, all right, I'm going to believe the best. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. Stephen does tend to be a little brash about things sometimes. He does tend to be a little bit petty. Let me listen. Let me go through the contract as Jeremy's reading it, and I'll compare some things with what Stephen said. So I wanted to believe the best. But the more that Jeremy read the contract in its word for word and paraphrasing, the more I felt like Stephen was right. And here's why I felt like Stephen was right. Daily Wire knows Crowder. The Daily Wire knows who Crowder is. They've known him for a while. Ever since Crowder was first in legal battles with YouTube and whatnot. That's when he and Ben really got to know each other. They knew each other as well through working with Andrew Breitbart. They've been there through this whole extravaganza. They've been there this whole time. They know that he's permanently demonetized on YouTube. They know that before Elon took over, their Twitter pages were constantly getting suspended. They know that TikTok has taken them down. They know all of these things. Okay? They know everything. They know everything. They've been there for every step of the journey, and they still sent this deal. Jeremy's defense was, hey, you know what? This is what negotiation is. You bring something to the table, they bring their agent, and they talk through it. They discuss their things. You scratch out things, you correct things along the way, and then you create the appropriate deal. Okay? And the big argument is this is how things are done in entertainment. This is how things are always done. You come to the table and you negotiate. Okay? Yeah, sure. That's how things are always done. Counterpoint, you are dealing with the most censored person outside of Alex Jones. Outside of Alex Jones, you were dealing with the most censored person on the internet. Why would you offer this, which obviously would not work? Out of the 32 million, do you realize how much cost goes into the things that they do? Do you realize how much money they eat trying to take care of their people? Look, I've been a Mug Club subscriber for quite a few years. I've been a Mug Club subscriber ever since the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself extravaganza thing, where he did the Evel Knievel stunt type of thing, where he tested out the neck thing. All right, so I've been there ever since then. The Crowder team has eaten a lot of money in order to take care of the fans. The reason why he only does 1, maybe 2 ad reads every video is because he wants to make sure he's crafting the best product. Okay, this is all stuff that's been known for a really long time. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Daily Wire was going to require at least 4 ad reads per video. That would drastically change the show, especially because you guys, if you've followed Crowder for a long time, you know that he turns every ad read that he does into a skit of some sort. Kind of like if you look on the political left, that's what the McElroys do. Somebody that my wife's a big fan of, and I enjoy listening to from time to time. The McElroys, they make everything that they do into a joke. So when they do an ad read, even if it's for a serious company or something, they like to add in a couple of jokes and tease each other about it, make up some big storyline about it. It's what they do. It makes the ads more fun, makes them more enjoyable. Doing 4 ad reads where you're not allowed to do that, or where you're very limited on how you can do that, that's a big deal. That really changes the tone of the show. Everything that's in that Daily Wire contract, for a person that they knew and that they've been friends with and following for a long time, they should have known that that would have been a sour deal for Crowder, and they sent it anyways. Here's my question. Why would you send a deal that you know is a bad deal? Even if it's a conversation starter, why would you do that instead of crafting something, especially for what Jeremy says is the biggest talent in conservative media? Why would you not handcraft something that would be good for Crowder? Why would you not, based off of everything that you know about this person, everything that you know about what they do, why would you not send something palatable to the talent? That's what really confuses me, and what really is frustrating me about this whole Daily Wire thing is they know Crowder. They know him. They sent a deal that you would send to a stranger. He's not a stranger. He's probably he was probably one of the biggest friends of the show for a long time. I mean, I think I've seen every single person from the Daily Wire, except for maybe Matt Walsh. If he was on there, I maybe missed an episode. But he's had each of the Daily Wire hosts on his show individually, including the recent additions, Candace Owens and Jordan Peterson. They've both made multiple appearances on the show. And they video in with each other all the time, and I really hope that they do in the future as well. Daily Wire should have known better. Okay? They should have known better. They should have treated him like someone that they know. And I feel like that's why it went over so sour, is because this came across as if you were giving a contract to somebody who's old and had no idea what technology is and doesn't care. Someone, like Jordan Peterson. This deal would work for Jordan Peterson because Jordan Peterson doesn't care. He just shows up. I'm not saying that he doesn't care about what he does, but he doesn't care about crafting the product the way that, let's say, Crowder does, or the way that Landau does, okay? It's a very different ball field, and they should have known that. But they treated it like they would a Fox News host, which Jeremy even mentioned. Is like, if he has a time where he wants to go on Fox and Friends for a little bit, like we would he would just have to let us know, and we could make a provision for that, and he could make up that video that he would miss another time. Crowder wouldn't be anywhere close to Fox and Friends. They hate him. They hate him now. Because he confirmed the inside baseball stuff. He confirmed a lot of the stuff with Bill O'Reilly. Like, they hate him. They won't have him on. You know better than to say that. That's my big problem is, like, as soon as the money came into question, Jeremy started acting like he had no idea who Steven Crowder was, and that really bothered me. That really bothered me a lot because it's not the Jeremy Boring that we thought we knew a while ago. And I wish I could say better of that. I'm going to get to Crowder in a minute. Hold on, Daily Wire fans. It just really bothers me that a lot of this has become about money. And here's another thing. My big thing that I have problems with is, he was saying, like, if we're going to support you, like, we can't take all of the brunt of the blow there. Like, after a while, you guys would have to help us carry that burden because you guys are costing us money. The Blaze made it work. The Blaze wanted him to stay. And remember, this isn't like, if this was the same thing that was going on with the Blaze as what happened with Daily Wire, we would have heard about it. We would know if the same thing was happening there. And honestly, part of me kind of wishes at this point that, I don't know, I go back and forth on whether or not I wish he had stayed and none of this came up, or if it's good that it happened. I guess we'll find out, because I'm really torn about it. It saddens me that this fight is even happening, because it shouldn't. This fight shouldn't be happening at all. Now I will do a little small criticism of Crowder. Crowder has a tendency to jump at the first sign of danger. Not to jump away and, like, run away, but, like, he has to... You've got fight, flight, or freeze type of scenarios. Like, danger comes up. Do you fight it? Do you run away from it? Or do you freeze and do nothing? What's your danger response? Crowder's is fight. Okay. And part of the problem with Crowder, and I love Crowder, and I'm still going to follow and sign up for Mug Club once it comes back. The problem with Crowder is Crowder's too quick to fight. And it's happened numerous times where he stepped in and he's started fighting someone that maybe he shouldn't have fought. Okay? I think that's a fair criticism of Crowder. And the deal wouldn't be a terrible deal for somebody who doesn't, like, craft their own thing. Louder with Crowder is its own creation. It's its own program. It works like a late night show, but it's able to function on its own. It's like, instead of, like, NBC funding the creation of a late night show, it's like the late night show existed and then, like, NBC bought it. Like, it's not something that the Daily Wire would create. And the way that Jeremy talking about it is like, these are the things that we would produce. There's very little that you have to produce, my dude. There's very, very little. And one of the other things, Jeremy was constantly talking about how Crowder was a gamble, and a gamble that they were willing to try to take. But he's like, you can't prove to me if you're worth 32 million. He said, how many subscribers do you have? And he's like, and Steven said, I can't tell you because the Blaze in their contract, they can't tell me how many I have, but I can tell you that it's at least 350,000. That's a little bit over a third of what the Daily Wire has. Okay. That would mean that at minimum, you'd have a 33% increase at the Daily Wire for subscriptions. I'm one of those people. I'm not subscribed to both. And as much as I appreciate the Daily Wire and would sign up if Crowder was there, I don't think I would sign up if he wasn't. But if they brought him on, yeah, I'd sign up. Yeah, you would gain a lot of people by bringing Crowder on. And that's just the minimum. And not only that, let's talk about this. 350,000, okay? The Mug Club subscriptions cost, $99 a year for everybody. And then for students, veterans, and active military, it's $69? Okay, so let's just roughly say $100 per subscription, because you guys know there's more than 350,000. Those are only the numbers that he can confirm. If you multiply, let's say, the 350,000 by $100, 35 million. That's not a big profit, but that's profit. And that's the low ball. So Jeremy, where do you come from where you're saying, where you're being so confident that this is a gamble, when you automatically know that just upon bringing Crowder on board, you're making your money back? At minimum, you are making your money back. That's even before you've got all of the other monetized platforms. You're automatically making your money back. And a partnering, and he knows this, a partnering between the Daily Wire and Louder with Crowder would be the biggest force on the internet, period. End of sentence. Like there's no bigger two forces on the internet that could work together and do something big. Like they could make an entire comedy arena just by the two of them partnering up and working together. They could make an entire film catalog, not just the occasional 1 or 2 videos a year type of deal. They could make so much content just from the two of them working together. Crowder is a huge draw. He's still growing. And on top of that, here, the other big problem I have, and let me put it this way. I understand both perspectives. I agree with Crowder more, and I'm going with Crowder, but I understand both perspectives, and I think it comes down to this. The Daily Wire is trying to work within the system. And for working within the system, they're doing a great job. They're influencing a lot of people within the system. And we got to say, you got to admit it, What Is a Woman has done massively great work across the internet. What Is a Woman has done incredible. It still pales in comparison to the cultural work that Louder with Crowder has done. And Jeremy acting like this isn't true, I'm sorry, that's just ignorant. It's just ignorant and it's petty. Change My Mind has been the biggest cultural force on the internet for decades. He knows that. A lot of the things that the Daily Wire does are inspired by Louder with Crowder. He knows that. Not only that, so you've got, let me pause there. You've got the Daily Wire trying to work within the system. Okay? Steven Crowder is trying to remake the system. This is where the two are different. And I realized this when I was admittedly doing too much back and forth on Twitter. The big difference with them is Daily Wire wants to work within the system. Crowder wants to burn down the system and start over. That's why there's all this disagreement. That's why there's been kind of these disagreements for a while, is Crowder wants to burn down the system. and prove that we don't need it, and then remake something in its place. Example, Rumble. Jeremy said in his video that Rumble is not ready to replace YouTube. It is not a viable competitor for YouTube yet. And I agree with that. We know that. We've known that for a long time. Rumble is not ready. Crowder showed us this year that it's possible. Crowder showed us this year that it's possible to burn down the system and remake it. He showed us that it is possible to live outside of the system. Welcome, people who are tuning in. That's the big problem, is the Daily Wire is trying to live within the system. And if you live within the system, sure, you can influence a lot of people. And he's right. YouTube is still the biggest audience. But when Crowder was banned from YouTube for 2 weeks before the midterm elections, he proved that it was possible to live outside the system and to remake the system. Because you get to election day, you had a 2020. Back in 2020, he had the biggest election stream in the history of the internet. Okay? I think right now the 2020 election stream has, what is it, like 18 million views, and that's, I think that's correct. It's somewhere between 8 and 18. I know that's a big leap, but still though, they had the biggest numbers of streaming on YouTube, period. I remember the biggest that I'd seen before that was Unus Annus a couple of years before, that had, what was it, like 2 million live viewers. Crowder destroyed that. Crowder utterly destroyed that in 2020 with his election stream. Then he gets blocked on YouTube, where he has the biggest number of people. Do people just go over to another area of YouTube? They come to Rumble, and they create the biggest election, not just the biggest election stream, they create the biggest stream off of YouTube. The biggest stream in internet history off of YouTube on Rumble. Daily Wire lives in the system. Louder with Crowder lives outside the system. And what Louder with Crowder, and what Steven specifically wants to do, is tear down the system, because the system is broken. It's not working. It's run by elites. We know this. He wants to tear it down because we don't have to live within it, and rebuild it somewhere else. He showed it's possible. And I think, excuse me, sorry. And what he showed us is that it's possible to live outside the system. Problem is, the Daily Wire isn't willing to do that. The Daily Wire is not willing to step outside the system. And that's where the fight comes from. Sorry, guys. I'm going to wrap this up because I need to get something to drink. But I think that's really where this fight comes down to. It bothers me a lot, and I really hope that this gets worked through in the near future. I hope there is a change of heart. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope that both of them have a little bit of a change of heart. If I could pick the ideal situation, I want Jeremy and Ben to come around and say, hey, you know what? You're right. We wrote up this contract like how people on the left do. It's a stupid contract. We know that people on the right are likely to get banned or blocked on things, and we need to start living like we live in that reality. Okay, that's what I think that they need to do. And then I think Crowder needs to come back. He's like, you know what, guys, I'm too quick on the attack. I need to learn when to hold my tongue. I need to learn when to listen. I need to learn when I need to humble myself and step back and look at myself a little more honestly. I think that both of them need to do that. I hope it happens. I don't know if it will. But that's where things are right now. So where do I stand? I kind of stand with Crowder on this. Daily Wire knows the reality. Daily Wire knows that this is the reality of the right. We're going to be blocked. The people on the left hate us. That's just how it is. And if you're not willing to live in that reality, You're going to get bit in the butt eventually. So I'll be interested to see what Crowder does. And I'll be hoping and praying that, because he is going to go on his own. Okay, let's just be honest. We've known this for a while. He was eventually going to go out on his own anyway. He's been toying around with the idea for years. He's been talking about passing the torch for a long time. He's going to do it. And I really hope it's successful. And I'm going to try to help as much as I'm able to with my piddly 180 subscribers. I'm going to try. But anyways, that's all I got for now. I'm going to go cough up a lung, maybe a liver while I'm at it. And I'll see you guys later. Pray for both of them, because this is not what we should have. And I feel very strongly about there not being punishments for getting banned from these platforms that we know that conservatives are going to get banned or shadow banned from anyways. But I'd like to see restoration. That's all I got for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.